Let's get started. So we are working on X and Y intercepts today. Okay. For the purposes of graphing, okay, learning how to identify the X and Y intercepts makes graphing super easy. Okay. When you're working with linear equations, or functions. So if we look in this first box, okay, it says the point at which the line intersects the x-axis is called the x-intercept. Okay, so the point in which the line intersects the y-axis would be called the y-intercept. Okay, so an example. Okay, this point right there is which intercept?
Y.
The y. Okay, which makes this pull.
Does it make it misleading?
There we go. The X intercept. There we go. Okay. Ruin the punchline. Okay. So finding the intercepts algebraically means that to find the x-intercept of an equation, okay, you are going to set the y equal to 0, then solve for x. Okay, so to find the y-intercept, you're going to basically do the same thing. You're just going to change out a couple of things. So you're going to set the x equal to 0, then solve for y. Okay, so an example. If we look at that little space down below that, we have y equals 3x plus 6. Okay, so if we're looking for, let's say, first the x-intercept, okay, what are we going to set equal to 0? Yeah, if we're looking for x, then you set the other one equal to 0. So it'll be y. The y. Okay, so we've got this equation right here. So instead of y, I'm going to have 0 equals 3x plus 6. Okay, and now we just solve. Okay, so now that's just it's one of your two-step equations. So we're going to get stuff away from the variable. So I'm going to subtract 6 from both sides. 6's cancel out. Bring the 3x down. It's going to be negative 6 equals 3x. Okay, and what do I do after that? By what?
By 3.
Yeah. Divide both sides by 3. Divide both sides by 3. That's going to give us x equals negative 2. Okay, so that is your x-intercept. I'll show you how to write it in just a second. Okay, now we need to find the y. So I'm going to write this same equation down that we started with, but now instead of the x, we're going to put in a 0. Exactly. Okay, we're going to put in a 0. And this is a good example of why mathematically the slope-intercept form always gives you the y-intercept. Okay, so in the slope-intercept form, if we remember y equals mx plus b, which one gives you the y-intercept? In the form y equals mx plus b, which one gives you the y-intercept?
The y-intercept.
We just took these notes on Wednesday. It is b. Thank you. Okay, so b. Okay, b gives you the y-intercept. So to find the y-intercept, we are now learning today that you can set x equal to 0. So see what happens mathematically. What's 3 times 0? 0. So what are you left with on that right side? Just a 6, right? Now, if you just had this equation and I said without finding your intercepts, or without doing this substitution stuff, can you just tell me what the y-intercept is? You could look at the b and it's just a 6. Okay, so mathematically, this is why that works out. Okay, and on the graph, I'll show you what that'll look like. So this is how you need to write your answer. Because what are our answers representing? Where the line crosses what? The x and y axes, right? The axes. Okay, so your actual answer, the actual x and y intercept, are points. Okay, so you need to write it as an ordered pair. Right, a point. Okay, so for x, okay, your x-intercept is going to be -2, 0. And your y-intercept is going to be 0, 6. And those are your answers. Okay? Okay, if you have questions still, that's okay. Let's go ahead and move on to number 1 and try this out. Okay, so we've got y equals -x plus 5. So which one do we want to find first?
Yeah, because can't you just put it right away? It'd be how it is up there, because we already know that b is the thing, so wouldn't it be 0? Right?
For your y?
Yeah.
That's perfect. Yeah. Okay, now I'm going to write it out algebraically. You write it or not. Okay, that's fine. If you just want to use the slope-intercept form to answer that, that's what I would do if I was a student. Okay, so I'm just going to write it out so you can see what it looks like. Okay, if we've got y equal that's a good question. Once we get to the graphs, I'll show you why. Okay, that's a good question. Okay, so Rowan was saying we already know. Okay, because of the slope-intercept form, if you go ahead and plug it in, this is what it would look like. A negative times 0 is going to just be 0. So you've just got y equals 5, which means your y-intercept is going to be 0, 5. Okay. Now your x-intercept, you've got y equals -x plus 5. Okay, what do we need to plug 0 in for? If we're looking for x, we want to plug it in to y. Yeah, for y. Okay, so 0. There we go. 0 equal. Oh my gosh. Okay. 0. Oh my god. 0 equals -x plus 5. Okay. It's Friday. What's our next step?
Do the thing,
Do the thing.
Yeah, so, and then you minus 5.
Minus 5.
So
where, Rowan?
On both sides. And so it cancels out on the right side.
Rowan's going for student of the quarter.
So, and then the other, yeah.
Okay. Now, what's my last step? I got to get rid of that negative, right?
Yeah. So when you divide by 1, yeah.
Negative. Just make sure it's a negative. Okay. Divide by -1. That is going to give you x equals.
Yep, I said that.
I said that.
I did.
So do you have to put the little whatever it's called on the actual answer? You do?
Yes. If you don't, then it would technically be read as those being something different
Okay.
that I don't need to get into. Okay, any questions? Try number 2 on your own. Man, it's so quiet. Did I scare y'all earlier?
Yeah. It was
Should
like
do that
when
more
you were
often.
when you were like, Jesus Christ, sit down. I was like, oh no. Soon he's gonna get some papers and start just smacking tables.
No.
I wanna know why that is.
Starts playing piano.
Is that how you know Mr. Bennett's upset?
When
Yeah.
he plays his piano.
You're like, oh, calm
You have
down.
to calm down.
I need some
Meditation.
Chopin. Yes, but I'm not giving out anymore because y'all took all my food.
No,
All my beef jerky is almost gone. It was a brand new bag.
It wasn't
What is
really.
that?
Okay, come on. You gave us like a couple.
Yeah, and you know what happens? All y'all open your big mouths, and you know what A4 came in and did? Mr. Bennett, you got beef jerky?
Hey, okay, that was literally that was not.
It was
That was
When did this happen?
Yeah, that was definitely.
It was one of the
us.
no. It was either
When
the
what
airport
happened?
portion.
Wednesday.
Oh, is it? I didn't get it.
So
What's up? I'm sorry.
Is that an episode? You should make that an episode. I'd follow it.
Mr. Bennett was 1.5 times 0.
Anything times 0.
It's 0.
All right, I'm gonna start putting my work up there.
Gotta go back to first grade.
Do what? No, I'm sorry. I'm sure that I don't have any to give out yet. I have some. I just don't have any to give out.
I'll give you what. I don't know what this is.
I don't want that.
I'll go get it.
Yes. All right.
What? Wait, you never heard what? He's home for X.
I do.
Do we have to solve for Y first? I mean, wait, would it be? X first. We have to solve for X. So I solved for Y.
It doesn't matter.
Emily's here. Hi, Emily.
Emily, come grab your notes.
Please.
Guess what?
Thank you. You passed. So proud. Okay, as soon as you're ready, you can check number 2. If you are done with number 2, please move on to number 3.
Is that a 2 or is that 2 or
Where at?
when you solve for Y? I mean, X. When you solve for X.
Where at, Rodney?
When you solve for
Over here?
yes.
Over here?
Yes.
So this one,
Yes.
that's a 2. I just crossed it out.
I'm not joking. I don't think she's joking, but yeah. I'm not.
Wait, no, then so
I'm not. Wait, do you listen to Quiet?
I have some Frederick Chopin ready to go.
No,
I
please.
wanna know what that is!
Please.
Ah!
Was that me?
I'm so pissed off!
I want to know what that is. We're recording.
Oh,
It's fine.
you would never do that to me, Mr. B. You would never, like, slam the table down.
I want to know why that is.
I don't know why that is.
So it's the exact same except X equals
Ivan, it is a great shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly,
You just all have funny.
Mr. Bennett, Mr. Bennett, you should have came to school in that school uniform.
Go ahead. On number 2?
so basically Y. So then what's okay, so then
Divide that by the half.
So you can divide by a half. I see what you're asking. So dividing by a half and multiplying by 2 are the same thing.
Yeah. So with that, like, why is the x intercept?
So when you're looking, so are you talking about this side right here? So it's pretty simple. We have to plug that 0 in for x. Anything multiplied by 0 is 0.
So it's literally just.
So the half, like that, just disappears, and you're just left with what's left over.
no,
Okay.
So. Oh, Mr. Bennett, is the reason.
Make sure you're working on number 4.
Is the reason the
So
X.
sorry, number 3. Sorry.
Is the reason like that.
So I got that from over here. So this is solving for my x. So I plug 0 in for y. And then I just started trying to get my x by. So I moved the 8 over by adding. So that's where the 8 equals 1/2 x is.
But like y intercept times that is the x intercept. Wait, no, because that's
They are only related because they're technically on the same line, but don't try and like kind of cross-reference them. Okay, just do each one as if it's its own individual problem. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I have this 1/2. To get rid of this one bottom. Yeah, I know. I'm about to say. So I need to get rid of that 1/2. Okay. So I multiply by 2, but I have to do both sides. So if I multiply by 2 over here, so that those 2's will cancel out and just leave me with x, I got to multiply the 8 by 2. Okay.
Mr. Bennett, so.
well, she kind of needs to be with all
You can do this. You gotta work outside it. So you gotta do that 2 first. Yep. I know that 0 will throw you off, but you just gotta now you can keep working. See what's up.
It's the.
Go ahead.
It's the reason the 16 the front is because the Y was 16.
With the y, it's not 16. The y is -8.
No, not like the intercept, like the Y and then transfer 0 plus 8 and then came
Yes,
down.
that 16 came from all that.
Yeah, I know. It's 10. So that equals 8. The 8 times 2 is 16. And it's in front of the equal sign. So right?
No. No. So you're asking just literally about why it's right there.
Yes.
So when we get to the graphs, I'll show you. But it's because when the line crosses the x-axis, the value for y is always 0. So it's x, y. So that's why on this one, the line crosses the y-intercept at -8, so the x is always 0. That's why.
That makes sense.
Yo. Hey, Mr. B. You're not helping.
I didn't even say anything. Why you gonna talk? I said nothing.
Wait. Guys, what? Oh my god. Because you're not explaining. That's not. Okay. Yes. So what's the inverse operation of multiplication? Multiplication.
That's what I just said.
And we did
No,
multiplication.
on this side.
Wait.
You did multiply both sides by 3.
Boom.
Wait, how did you get 3?
How did I
Well, that's disgusting.
So you gotta go from there to your other.
Okay, I have the negative 2.
So now you've got
Okay, so
now we need to
and whatever you Goodbye.
Now you
Okay, maybe we confused about
that's what I'm saying. That's gonna give me 6/4 and then up here.
So why would you do that? Y'all got number 3?
Yeah, so you're dividing 6/4.
I don't know what y'all got the X
It's
yet.
just one.
I text it.
Okay, this is one X unless I divide because I can divide over
Well, that seems right.
you have negative X. You should divide by negative. And then for the Y,
Why are they like great? It's like I got a question. This is just like say hypothetically I were to just like leave the classroom.
what would I do?
Yeah, I asked first
And just walked out.
and then I went back.
I don't know.
Okay,
So Mr. Bennett. Mr. Bennett.
Okay, I'm gonna put number 3 up here real quick.
Don't
Hold on.
dare leech off of my English.
Okay, first, I'm going to find the x-intercept. So I'm going to set y equal to 0. Okay. What's my first step need to be?
Do the split.
Minus 2
Do the
on both
split.
sides.
Come on, do the split. Do it. Split the thing. Split it. Oh, dang. No. Well. Oh, it
That's
looks
to
like
divide even bigger.
It looks like it's like in typing. You know? Wait, Mr. B.
I know
is
that
like
cursor's up there.
type of thing. So like maybe you need to like switch it to like a different thing, you know? You feel me?
I do feel you. Okay. So, yes, we need to do the split thingy. Take 2 away from both sides. You should have -2 equals -4 over 3x. Okay? Now, we've had some practice with these improper fractions or regular fractions. Getting rid of them takes 2 steps. Okay? If you have a number bigger than 1 on top. So, what's the first step? Multiply by the denominator. Okay? So it's 3. Multiply both sides by 3. Okay? That'll give you what on the left side? -6. And the 3's will cancel out on the right and give you -4x. Okay? What's our last step? Divide. Let's get off our phones, please. Divide by -4. Okay? So what do we have on the left side now? -6 over -4. The negatives will cancel out. And can it be simplified? To what? 3 over 2 equals x. Okay? So that's your x. Your y-intercept. You're looking for y. You're going to plug in a 0 for x.
Or you could just like use the little thing. Why are you doing this? Also, for the x-intercept is 1.5.
I would prefer no decimals. It is an adequate answer. I would count it correctly. My preference is no decimals. Okay. Yes, Rowan, you are correct. The reason I'm doing this is because in algebra, you will have to use a similar method when you get to quadratics, which are, instead of a straight line, it's a parabola. So the graph looks like a shoehorn. Okay. And you can't use that method for that stuff. So what I'm doing is teaching you how to do it algebraically, but how you do it on like a test, do it the easy way. Okay? But it'll be helpful later down the road. Hold on just a second. So what happens when you take -4 over 3 and multiply it by 0?
0.
Yeah, the same thing that happens to anything, right? It just is 0. So y equals 2. So your answers are going to be x first, 3/2, 0. Okay, and then the y-intercept will be 0, 2. Okay, let's keep going to the back, please. This thing is glitchy as... Never mind. I didn't say anything. Thinking it doesn't count. Doesn't count. Okay, number 4. What do we notice is different about these than from the front? Yeah, both variables are where? They're both on the same side, right? So what form is this? The front page that was all slope-intercept form, what form is this? We took these notes on Wednesday. Standard form. Okay, so you just have to do a little bit more solving. Okay, and this is another good example, Rowan, of why I'm teaching you to do it this way, because now in this form, you'll have to move stuff around anyway. Okay, so if we're looking for x, what do we plug 0 in for? Y. Okay, so I'm going to rewrite this as there we go. X minus 0. Come on. 0 equals 2. Okay, what's a negative times 0?
0.
It's just 0. So you have x equals 2. Okay. Now for the y, what do I put? Yeah, what's up, Sophia? So the question that I get a lot from math students is, do I have to do this? The literal answer is no. Okay. However, as you increase the difficulty of the math you do throughout the years, if you will get in the habit of putting parentheses anytime you do a substitution like this, you will make less mistakes in the future. Right now, it seems easy, simplistic, and unnecessary, but Algebra 2, you will want those parentheses there, because inside the parentheses, you'll be putting x squared plus 9x minus 5 equals, x squared minus 8. And those parentheses will help you know that now I need to distribute this whole thing instead of making the mistake of not having them there. Okay. So you'll just get to more complicated stuff where it'll help. That was an example of a quadratic, which you will do next year. X minus. Yes, thank you. Sorry, my brain broke. So if we have this right here, we're going to put a 0 in for x. Okay? So what do we have left on the left side? Negative y equals 2. And we got to get rid of the negative. Divide by. Guys. Yeah, so, hey.
Isn't it?
There's certain things in math that are easy to learn if you just focus a little bit.
It's 1.
It's negative 1.
Negative 1.
Okay?
That's what I meant.
Okay? If we have a negative variable and I say, how do you get rid of that negative? You have to just divide by a negative 1. Okay? That can't be a question that I keep asking and we keep blanking on. Okay? So that should give you y equals negative 2. Your solution will look like 2, 0 for your x-intercept. And what will it look like for your y? 0, negative 2. Okay? Now I want you to do number 5, 7, and 9. Number 5, 7, and 9. Okay? On 7 and 9, you're doing the same thing. And now when you get those 2 points, your x-intercept and your y-intercept, you're going to graph them and draw your line. Where? What are we doing? You can do this. I believe. Don't do it, Rowan.
Don't do what?
You know what?
Why?
I can feel Ava's you've seen the good conscience and bad conscience, okay? Ava's sitting on your shoulder going, just do it.
Okay, I won't forget.
So Sophia's dressed in white and Ava's dressed in red.
Yeah. Why are you forcing me to do that?
Why are you forcing me? Why are you making me do this and I have no control, Ava?
Exactly.
Why don't you do it?
Yeah, why don't you do it?
Ava's the one that in high school will get all of the.
I do owe it because I got the chair back. So I guess.
So the deal for that was just walk out of class.
Just walk out.
It was
Sure.
So like, what if I were to just like pay my dues now?
But I said he didn't have to do it.
And she was the one
It
that
would be quite humorous to see that. That's
Yeah.
what and actually wouldn't be that funny for some people.
Let's work on 5, 7, and 9.
After that's done, you should do it.
Can he do it? I mean, he's asked permission, so at this point, it's not really the same situation that y'all were discussing. It's like when I was in high school, all my friends wanted to go. We had this, I don't remember what it was for. Maybe, I don't remember what it was for. But we all wanted to go eat at IHOP at like 1 in the morning.
Let's go.
And so we were all going to sneak out of the house. All of us asked our parents permission. So it doesn't really count. Not all of us asked, but most of us.
Oh my gosh, y'all were so crazy.
Insane. Especially,
So insane.
I have never claimed as such. I think that's probably information I'll keep to myself.
Really? That's.
He doesn't want to tell us.
You probably would have heard me if you weren't on the phone. I won't talk to you with your phone in your hand.
Oh, that is true. You probably
What's Bob about it?
I did what?
You didn't like go to the thing.
I did go.
You didn't ask.
I did ask.
You did?
That's
Yeah.
tough.
My parents trusted me, and I was just like, I shouldn't screw that up because they let me do whatever I want as long as I talk to them. Sophia.
So what would I do? Where would I put 0, 3?
So where you're graphing it is what you're asking? That's a great
where are
question.
we going?
Okay, so
God.
yes. So, Sophia, what are your 2 intercepts on number 7?
5, 0, 0. X is the first one.
On number 7?
Going to be honest here.
Sure.
So basically, like right before, like whenever you were demonstrating after class, I think I rushed to put that down because I saw it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it was
I'm a little
it was
vulnerable,
3. It was actually 3, 0 and then 0, 3.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, those are the answers. Thank you.
What you mean? Thank you. I was going to give you the answers anyway. Okay. So these are your 2 points. Okay. This is your x-intercept. This is your y-intercept. I didn't skip number 5. I'll come back to it, okay, for you to check. But I just want to show you the graphing stuff. So this is the reason why there's a number and then a 0 for your x and then a 0 and a number for your y, okay? When we're graphing, your x-axis is this horizontal one. Unless we all are very confident and know exactly how to graph these, please watch, okay, because this will help. Okay, your x-axis is this horizontal one right here, okay? Your y-axis is the vertical one, okay? So I'm going to start at the origin always, which is right there, okay? And I'm just going to do my counting to graph, okay? So from the origin, I'm going to do my x. So I'm going to go to the right 3 because the x is my side to side, okay? And the 0 tells me not to go up or down. It just tells me to stay at 0. So that's my x-intercept right there, okay? The y-intercept is the opposite. I don't move side to side at all, and I go up how many? 3. Okay, so I'll go up 3. Okay. Then I'm going to draw my line. And that's my graph. Okay. Somebody tell me what the slope is. It is negative. Yeah? For sure. What's the slope? We took these notes on Wednesday.
It would be I gotta look back at my notes.
Slope is -1. -1. Okay. So -1. How do I know? I can go point to point. Okay, so I'll start at this point. And I can go down 3. So that's a negative 3 for my rise. Then I go to the right 3. Okay, what's negative 3 over 3? Negative 1. Okay, that's my slope. Okay, not required on this worksheet, but it's good to know because we will eventually put this all together. So I will put the solution up there for number 5. Okay, and then I'll put the solution up there for number 9. As soon as you are ready, you may come and grab your homework. And contrary to popular opinion, I am in a good mood today, so you will only do the odds.
Let's go. What? What do you mean by that?
You will only do the odd number problems on your homework. You should be doing something. Okay, you're either finishing your notes or you're coming up here to get your homework and working on that. Okay, but nobody should just be sitting there chilling.
Ivy, can you come in home? Sorry, Ivan. Ivy.
What's up?
Ivy. Oh,
No, I was trying to get it. Rip it.
please.
Are you sure?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, you're right there. You're dead in front of it.
Yeah, Portia, you're dead in front of it. No way. No actual chance.
I'm confused.
I just would expect you to be like, no. I literally don't care.
Hurry it up. What?
They were my fridge, so they're probably hard.
Girl, don't put it on the floor. Throw it high. Because it's gonna go on the floor.
This one's good.
This is broken.
I don't have to.
Thank you. Oh, thanks for giving me a sliver. Oh, thank you so much.
Wait, we just do the odd.
Do
Just do the odd number.
Yes.
No. Yes.
You gotta get up, lazy bum.
How do you know which ones are odd?
Yeah.
How do you know which ones are odd?
Exactly. It's right in front of you.
Yeah.
Mr. Bennett, how do you know which ones are odd?
Did you ask how do I know if a number's odd?
No, not like that. Like you mean like which equations are gonna be odd? Like there's gonna be lots of odd numbers.
You do the odd numbered problems. So you do number 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, and 15. Yeah, number 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, and 15.
Repeat that.
Yeah. 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, and 15.
Repeat that.
Yeah. 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, and 15.
Repeat that.
Don't test my patience. I have a 2.5-year-old. 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, and 15.
Yeah,
Can you repeat that? Go ahead, Rodney.
In the low voice section.